up, YouTube? So the clips you just seen, you can go back and pause them. I wanted to put them first. I'm getting ready to share with you. I'm going to try to keep it together because I'm really opening myself up to you guys in a way that I've never opened up myself before, to anybody. Maybe only my wife. That's it. Bear with me, okay? I'm taking my mind back to a dark place. So when I did the mother trucker interview, I mentioned, and the reason why I mentioned it was because I didn't want, this thing is about to go national. Pretty much has a lot with the saving of the kids. If there is some background noise, my stupid reefer is super loud. I apologize. But back to it. I hope you can hear me okay. If not, let me know and I'll try to edit it if I need to. So I was kidnapped when I was 4 years old. So saving those kids and having life come full circle is a big thing for me. So saving those kids that night was about those kids, but it also brought up some demons in my past. So if you had a chance to read any of the stuff in the article, it's pretty graphic. I'm sorry about that, but I'd rather be upfront and honest. I'll leave the link. I know a lot of you people, a lot of you guys are big on wanting to read the whole case and everything like that. I'll put the case, the link to the case or whatnot, so you can pull up the entire thing and read it for yourself in the description. Long story short, I was 4 years old, and me and my mother, we took 3 of my uncles it was like a bar, but it was like a bar where you could buy alcohol. It was probably on the weekend, I'm assuming, the day it happened. I don't remember the day. Like I said, I was 4. I remember everything else pretty vividly though. We go to the bar. My mom didn't want to drive them, but they were already drinking, so they couldn't drive. So they being brothers and whatever, pissed my mom off enough where she said, "To hell with it. I'm gonna take you guys or whatever." So we take them over there. The one uncle of mine was supposed to stay in the car, to make sure we were safe. This is what I remember. I was in the back seat. There was a whole bunch of guys, man. There was a whole bunch of people in the parking lot. It's crazy the way everything happened with all them people there. So we park. My uncle was supposed to stay in the car. He decides to go in with the rest of my uncles. So then what happened in return was, as soon as he did so, I remember watching my uncle walk up the steps and go into the bar. And then these 2 guys back in this black pickup truck, hanging out, drinking, making a lot of noise. One of them was 14. I didn't know that at the time. I know that from the case. One of them was 14, and the other one was like, he must have been like almost in his 20s or whatnot. They come over, and I remember my mom yelling at me and saying, lock the back door. I didn't lock it in time. They forced their way into the car. They kidnapped us. They drove us to this field down by these train tracks. They drug us out the car, and they held a gun to the back of my head, to get my mom to do whatever she wanted, whatever they wanted her to do. And they proceeded to strangle and rape my mother, and murdered her in front of me. It's crazy because the one guy, James Earl Jones, that was his name, he actually knew one of my uncles. And the other guy, like I say, he was 14 years old. And as they were strangling my mother, ripping her clothes off, they decided to, have sex with my mother after she had passed. And they took turns. And then they basically, one of them left, one of them took off. James Earl Jones took off, and Lawrence Bell took off. James Earl Jones took me to my uncle's, because at this point it was a couple hours later, and I was still kidnapped. They were stuck with a 4-year-old that was screaming for his mother, and one of them decided to walk. They knew where my uncle lived, and they tried to say that they found me walking. And it's crazy because at 4 years old, I was able to remember where they took my mom. It's crazy. It's crazy what I remember at that age. And I remember my uncle was real hostile, and he demanded that my uncle, in order for them to hand me over, he wanted the cigarettes that my uncle had in the house. And then once he got whatever money and stuff like that, he took off. The cops were called. The rest of my family was notified by my uncle, which they only lived like 2 blocks away from my grandmother's house, where everybody else lived, where I lived, where my mother lived. You know what I'm saying? Like, with all my other uncles lived. Well, 2 of my other uncles. I have 4 altogether. My mom was the only daughter that my grandmother had. And the police came. I remember them asking me repeatedly, "Where's mommy? Where's mommy?" And they put me in the car, and I was with my uncle, and I was able to help them. I told them the train tracks. I remember the fog. It was a foggy night. I remember the train tracks. I was always in love with trains as a kid, and I remember the train tracks. And there was only one set of train tracks in our neighborhood. They kind of only one set. It was a rail yard, and there was only maybe 2 or 3 streets where these train tracks crossed like a public street. And it wasn't too far from my uncle's house, to be honest with you. So we go over there. I remember them pulling the canine unit out, and then they found my mom the same night, and there was nothing that they could do. She was gone. So this is a little story about me and things that I deal with on a day-to-day basis. Because I blame myself why I say, you know, if you see something, say something. What I did for those kids was strictly for them kids. It wasn't for attention. It wasn't for all these awards that I'm getting. It wasn't for the interviews I'm doing. I'm doing it to spread awareness. And I just want you guys to please do your part. And the crazy part is, man, the one dude that's 14 years old, you'll see at the end of the one of the clips, this dude killed my mom, had sex with my mom after she died, you know, raped and murdered my mother, and then he got out of jail last year. You know, there's been a number of times when I got to go to court and do my victim impact speech because my mother ain't here to do it, obviously. And all it does is stir up this damn dark place I got in my soul. And he's just living life now, 45 years old, on the street. So that's why I don't try to go back to New Jersey. Cause could you imagine if I ran into this dude on the street? I don't know what would happen. But that's my story. I'm not gonna take too much more time. I don't want to make this a huge, long video. I just want you guys to help me spread awareness, please. And I appreciate you guys listening, for real. I do. I appreciate the support, all the new subscribers, the kind words. I can't look. I'm getting about 300 comments an hour, man. I can't keep up with it. So I thank you. I thank all of you. I can't go too much deeper into this story because, you know, it tears me up instantly. So anyway, I love you guys. I appreciate your support, and I just wanted to take this time out to share this with you and why it's so important to me. So protect your kids. If you see something, say something. Even if